you know how people are talking about right now about there's this outside schools in the state that I'm in, which is in California, and they're talking about like how the buildings are at and all that kind of weird stuff and interesting, you know, architectural type of themes. And they're talking about in the basis of saying like, I'm guessing they're talking about in the construction of the buildings being like, for example, since I've been to 4 high schools, I can tell you this myself. 2 of them were actually somewhat majority outside building because they weren't all that interconnected, but they were like sort of like connected as in like in a plaza architectural like sense. But they were like, you know, sporadically spread out, scattered about. But they had one thing, they had outdoor lockers. And I used to go to Cabrillo High School and Lompoc High School, and I used to actually, you know, use outside lockers. Where when I went to like for the first time to like Santa Maria High School and then San Luis Obispo High School, I noticed that they have indoor like lockers in a building and not like the outside, if that makes any sense. I think it was mostly San Luis Obispo's one, because that was the first time for me seeing lockers in the inside, and I went there for the majority of my till I was supposed to graduate high school, which I did actually. And I don't know if because I was there for a short time in Santa Maria High School. It was like for a short little run, I guess. But within the same year, I went to San Luis Obispo High School, so that's why I might not be fully, you know, with all the stuff. I might be a little bit vague on the details on the building structure, so it's like, forgive me on that one. But as I recall, when I went to Cabrillo High School twice, Lompoc High School once for like a year, and I just noticed the architecture is somewhat similar to each other because it was in Santa Barbara County, because that's where I went to, you know, Lompoc Valley Middle School. Then, of course, I went to Cabrillo High School because I wanted to go there, and I really loved that high school a lot. And so I had like my kind of good times over there, I guess. And it was okay in Lompoc High School. I won't put them down for it, but it was much closer to my house. I just like taking the bus and going early because I was like, why not? I love it. It was an adventure for me. So it got me like, it got me to deal with life, I guess. But of course, it didn't stop me from dealing with fucking bullies and all that weird shit and me getting in trouble defending myself, which I did like almost all the time. And so yeah, there was that. And I think they're talking about an architectural types because I'm like, that's what the buildings look like. But in Santa Maria High School and Lompoc and San Luis Obispo High School, I noticed that their buildings are kind of more like a little bit more indoors. And it was like almost like more connected to each other, kind of like a block or something situation. And I noticed that. And you can go through like inside hallways and stuff, and it looked like really old in Santa Maria High School because I vaguely remember. And then in San Luis Obispo High School, it was somewhat the same, but more like modern. But they also had their indoor lockers too, and some of their classes were indoor and connected to the mega building on top of the hill. And that's where they had some of their classrooms, and also where the principal's offices and all that stuff, and the counselors and shit. So I could say architecturally, yeah. And then they did have another school next to that one, which I still live in town here, by the way. They have that as well, but I don't know if they have outdoor lockers or indoor lockers, but they just had like a school up there, and that's just used for like now adult school for some reason, which my mom somewhat used to go to practice on her English because she didn't finish her high school in Mexico when she was living in Tijuana at the time. And yeah, I mean, architectural wise, the buildings, and that's where I used to work when I was in high school for like this SELPA program, which was for people who don't know, when you're a special needs kind of kid like I was at the time in special education, when you had good grades, they put you in the SELPA program, which is where you can work at school on campus and, you know, get paid and stuff and get some like educational kind of like experience, work-like experience. So for me, I started working since being in high school on campus, and I got used to working so much since then. And I could tell you this, yeah, I know some things about office stuff because I was helped in that kind of thing. Pretty good program, though, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if I was the best behaved at that time. Who knows? I can't remember everything. But yeah, there was that. And if I can remember, like I said, I was still in special education in all these 4 high schools. I was this close to going to a 5th one, which would have been at Tascadero, because I was living over there at the time after being emancipated from my mom's house and stuff at that time. And I was about to go there, but they said it was better for me to continue going to high school and not bounce around so much since I was already doing that. I mean, I wish we still lived in Santa Maria, to be honest with you, because it was fun, and down there was much better than up here because it's so boring as fuck. And I still think it's still boring today, which my mom no longer works for Mervyn, so if she ever wants to move down south, I even told her like the other day, I miss living in the IE. I really do, because I grew up in the Inland Empire a little bit, and I miss that area. I even miss Oxnard, for God's sakes, and that's in Ventura County. I miss that place. I semi-miss Riverside County, you know, because that's where I was going to Harvest Valley Elementary School. But yeah, like I said, all the schools I've been to, even Laguna Elementary, you know, I think Laguna Vista Elementary, I think that's what it was in Point Poinini or something over there. I might be wrong on the name. I'll have to probably come back to make an update to this video. I went to I went to 2 elementary schools and 1 middle school and 4 high schools, almost close to going to number 5, but that didn't happen, thank God, I guess. I was kind of disappointed when I heard I wasn't going to go to a 5th high school. I was like, I'm so used to moving out of schools now. I mean, what's the point? Might as well just keep the gravy train rolling. I'm already used to going to different places because I get excited about traveling a lot. So I get bored easily, as you can tell. And I really liked it, but I guess they wanted me to retain my attention. And by the grace of God, I did graduate high school. Didn't finish college though. But like I said, since I'm a slow learner, I can take all the time I want to if I want to finish college. That's on me if I want to, but I'm like, life makes it hard for me to pay attention sometimes. But I could if I wanted to. But the point I'm trying to say is, yes, the buildings were all like, if you saw architecture, if you grew up in California like I did, almost everything's outside, okay? It's not all interconnected buildings architectural wise, but they were all freaking adjacent to each other within the same vicinity. You would see that. And in this case, in San Luis Obispo High School, it was up on a hill, so it was very hilly for me. Whereas in Cabrillo and Lompoc, everything was within the same floor. And then when it was Santa Maria, same thing, it was all on the same floor. But just that high school alone, that was like, I had to do extra legwork, for God's sake. I used to walk every morning so early. Didn't take the bus much, I noticed. And I took mostly just myself in person to school. And then when it was, no, that's actually right, because I didn't take the, I don't think I took the public bus to this school, but I did for Cabrillo. I would take the bus to Cabrillo from Lompoc to Vandenberg Village, but it was in Cabrillo High School. That was the only thing I did. Same thing with the bus in Santa Maria. Took the bus in person there. But when it was Lompoc, I walked on foot. When it was San Luis Obispo, I think walked on foot. I could have taken the bus, I just can't remember at this moment, but yeah. But I think I took the bus when I was living with a family friend, and I think that's when I took the bus, because I don't remember taking the bus in town here until after I got emancipated and stuff. And I was living with her in a Tascadero, so that's why I'm saying that. So I'm guessing that's what happened, and then I didn't take the bus after that. Of course, I took the county bus, which is the Regional Transit Authority in this county here. But yes, everything is what some people have been saying. It is kind of outdoors, and the buildings were just kind of like, sort of like I was telling you, like a plaza or something. I mean, they're like sometimes stuck together, or they could be like kind of in the city, kind of sporadically spread out. But everything wasn't inside a building like you see like in those Disney Channel and other kids shows, probably, or Nickelodeon shows where kids are doing school episodes and stuff, where it's all interconnected building together within like the same building. It wasn't. It's not like the mall, guys. But it was nice though. Man, how I wish one of them was nearby the beach, like the one in Morro Bay High School. I'm so jealous because I wish I went to a school next to the beach because I really love the beach so much. This is some shit though. That's all I gotta say. I'm waiting. But you know, I'm glad at least I went to 4 high schools and not 5. But still, yeah. Okay, thanks for listening. Bye.